This is the Pal Talk News Network.
The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of paltalk.com, AVM Software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online is a production of paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users, on demand on iTunes and on YouTube, and on my blog, GaryBaumgarten.com, where you're encouraged to post your comments, whether you agree with yours truly or not. No retribution. Also syndicated by Blip TV all over the internet, and thanks to our good friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio, we're syndicated to an additional 12 million households. I am your host, Gary Baumgarten. I welcome you to the show, and I remind you to go to our site, paltalknewsnetwork.com. Check it early, check it often, just like voting in Chicago, because things change throughout the day, and we update it so fast that if you blink, you might miss something important. Including a very, very important announcement about our call for citizen journalists and show hosts for the Pal Talk News Network. I won't get into great detail about that now because I have a guest that you're waiting to be introduced to. To my right, your left, is Sal Manzo, M-A-N-Z-O. You can find him at salmanzo.com. And let me just tell you why I asked Sal to come in today. We've had a week full of very important stories that we've been covering here. Not that this isn't important. It's very important what we're talking about here today. But the thing is, we need a little break. Today, Debbie and I went out to, usually wherever the President of the United States goes, especially with the political climate the way it is, there are hordes of demonstrators. Not so when he came here to New York City. In fact, we found two. Count them, two. One demonstrator who was absolutely, positively certain that the Jews were responsible for the economic downturn that we're having. So he and I had a little tete-a-tete, and he didn't like what I had to say, and I didn't like what he had to say, but I gave him opportunity. It was pretty interesting, but it was a little stressful. And I didn't know until after the fact, because, of course, I'm looking at him, but Debbie is the camera person, and there are these two cops who start moving over closer and closer because they were afraid this guy was going to try to pop me. I mean, I was getting him a little upset. But it was real interesting. He wandered away. I told him goodbye, don't let the door hit you in the butt and all that kind of stuff. And he comes back. We're talking about other stuff. He comes back and says, I want to make another statement.
Was this on the street or was it?
Yeah, the street. Wow. Across from Cooper Union, where the president was about to speak. Wow. So I said, okay, you can speak. And I walk up to him, and he takes my hand and he pushes it away. With my microphone. He pushes it away. I think that's when the cops really, their antenna went up. And I said, you asked me to come back and give you another opportunity to talk. Why are you pushing me? So after we dispensed with him, it was great fun, actually. Another guy walks by, a 9/11 truther. Okay, I understand that there are a lot of people who are not fully convinced that what the government said happened on 9/11 happened exactly the way that they said, and there may be some discrepancies in what we know, or there may be things that are being withheld from the public. I don't deny that. But guess who was behind 9/11? Israel. So it was just too much stress.
But how lucky were you that there were only two?
There were only two. Only two.
You got lucky then.
Yeah, I guess the president did as well. And really, what was really unfair was that the cops said 4 blocks away is the pen for protesting. The president can't even see you. That's ridiculous. If you're going to go out to protest the president, at least be in a position where you can yell at the motorcade. Otherwise, why even bother? But anyways, it was pretty interesting. So we need something positive in our lives today. And guys, we have had a number of musicians on the show. The last couple of musicians were kind of new to the business because we like to give new original artists, a little play, because they need a little, sometimes kick in the butt. But you, Sal Manzo, have been around a long time.
I've been around a while. I like to call myself the oldest rookie singer on the planet. That's my thing. I'm 48 years old. I just turned 48 a couple of weeks ago, and I've been singing really since I'm a kid. God-given talent. Never took a lesson in my life. From the time I was able to walk and talk, I was able to sing, and I knew the destiny of it all. I was going to be a singer somehow during the course of my life, and I've done other things in my life, but now it's all about the singing.
And you really got your first break in grammar school, I understand.
St. Pius Grammar School in Rosedale, Queens.
Yes.
I was about 12 or 13 years old, and it was the first time I got up ever in front of a large audience of about 300 or 400 people. It was the bicentennial year, and it was the play based on all the ethnic groups coming over to America.
Right.
So, as you can see on the air right now, I was the Italian guy that came over from Italy, and I sang Funiculi, Funicula, but the words were just a little different. And I got a standing ovation from 400 people.
Wow.
And at that point, I knew from that point on that I had to do something like this.
Your moms and pops, they spoke Italian in the house?
Not really. More so my grandparents, but not my mom and dad. I don't even speak that much of it myself, which is unfortunate, but I'm happy to know that my son, who's graduating high school in another month or so, he has taken Italian in school throughout his whole high school years, and he's getting a special award for that as well, so I'm very happy about that.
Is he a singer as well?
No, he's going to be a lawyer. He's going on to college, going on to college in the fall, and wants to be a lawyer. That's I call him Little Sal because I'm just a little bigger than him.
You actually got your talent naturally from your mom, apparently.
My mom, God rest her soul. I know Mother's Day is coming. I always think about her every day, and closer to Mother's Day, it gets a little more emotional because more often than not, I sing on Mother's Day, so she's constantly on my mind. And I'll never forget her as she was cleaning the house when I was a kid. She would always be singing. Sinatra was on, Dean Martin was on, Jimmy Roselli was on, Tony Bennett, and Frankie Valli was more or less, I guess, a favorite of hers. And I'll always remember her singing My Eyes Adored You by Frankie Valli.
How does that go?
My eyes adored you, though I never laid a hand on you. My eyes adored you, like a million miles away from me. You couldn't see how I adored you. So close, and yet so far.
Wow.
Deborah, that's for you, by the way. I know you're a big Frankie Valli fan.
You know, it's interesting. A lot of people cannot sing that song in particular without accompaniment. It's difficult to do what you're doing here today.
Well, I've been doing it for a while, and if you think this is tough, singing a cappella for the New York Mets, it's